Okay, then in this video we'll talk about operators like comparison operators, Boolean operators, etc. So let's first discuss comparison operators. Well, in Python there are 6 comparison operators, and as the name suggests, comparison operators allow you to compare one value with another value. So for instance, in here, the first comparison operator is equal. So this one says equals, x equals to y. So if it's so, it's going to return true. So then the second one is not equals, which is opposite of equals. That means not equal. So then we have less than. So that means x is less than y. So then we have less than or equal to. Then we have opposite of less than, which is greater than. So for instance, in here it says x is greater than y. And in here it says greater than or equal to. That means it can be greater or it can be equal. So in both cases, it's going to return true. So let me show one of them very quickly. So for instance, let's start with equals. So if I say 5 equals to 5, it's gonna be true because 5 equals to 5, right? So if I run this code, it's gonna return true. But if I say in the second one, for instance, let's demonstrate this one. If I say 5 is not equal to 5, it's gonna return false because 5 is equal to 5. So you see, it's false. But if I change this one to 6, it's going to return true because 5 is not equal to 6. It's true now. So then similarly, you can use other ones like less than. So for instance, in here, if I say this, 5 is less than 6, which is correct. So it's going to return true. You see, etc. So now let's discuss Boolean operators. So in Python, we have 3 Boolean operators. So the first one is AND operator. So for instance, when you say x and y, so you have one expression and you have another expression, you can use AND. So if both expressions get evaluated to true, the result will be true. So for instance, let me show that to you. So print. And then, so in here, I will say maybe 5 is greater than 3 and 5 is greater than 4. So in both expressions, in here and in here, they are evaluated to true. That means this AND operator is going to return true. So let me show that to you. You see, it's true. So in order for this AND to return true, both expressions need to return true. So if I change this one to 6, which is this one is now returning false, that means the end result will be false. So let me show that to you. You see, it's now false. So we have also OR. It's just this one, OR, and in here at least one of the expressions should return true. So if I run this code, it's going to return true because 5 is greater than 4, but this one is false, but that's fine because in here we're using OR expression. So at least one expression in here should return true in order for this OR comparison, and Boolean comparison, to return true. So if both of them true, that's fine. It's still going to return true, you see. So then we have not operator. So it's, let me show that to you in action. So if I say not x greater than 3, so we have not. In here, not gets evaluated to false so let me start this one from scratch again. So if x is false, then the end result will be true. Otherwise, the end result will be false. So let me explain this one in more detail. So for instance, in here, x, so I don't have any x in here. That's why I'll say x equals to 5. So 5 is greater than 3, right? Which is true. But in here, I have not. That's why the end result will be false, because 5 is greater than 3. So let me show that to you. You see, it's false. So, and if I say, for instance, 2, then let's compare this expression first. So 2, it says 2 is greater than 3, which is false, right? Because 3 is not greater than true. But in here, I have not. So that means it's gonna be true. So let me show that to you. You see, it's true. So I think it's very easy to understand. So now let's talk about the next one, which is in operator. So we use in operator with a sequence like string, array, list, or tuple. And for instance, we can say print, and then let me quickly create the list first because it's gonna be easier to explain this in operator. So I'll say list, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. So in here, I'm gonna check if 1 is present in the list. So I'll say print 1 in my list. It's gonna return true because 1 is in my list. So this in operator is used to check whether, in my case, number is in the list. So let me check that for you. So you see, it's true now. So if I say 6, it's going to return false because 6 is not in my list. You see, it's false. So we also have not in. So it's opposite of in. So if you say not in, so 6 is not in my list, which is true. That's why it's going to return true. You see? So if you say 1, it's going to return false because 1 is in the list. But in here, it's we're saying 1 is not in my list. So it's false. You see? So why we discussed these operators? Because in the next video, we're going to use them. We're going to use them in if statement. Okay? So that's it regarding operators. And I will see you in the next video.